Hello everybody, MegaZardX here, back at it again to give y'all another very exciting collection reflection video where I take the time out just to go through my whole entire gaming library and just pick something off the shelf, whether it be a game, a limited edition, or it could be a console, etc. though. But for today, for this week's topic, we're going to be talking about none other than Skyward Sword, The Legend of Zelda, Skyward Sword, because me and this game go way back, and for a lot of y'all may not know this, but this is technically the very first Legend of Zelda game I have ever played up until this point. Yes, from start to finish, I managed to sit down and actually beat the game. This is the one game that actually got me started off in this series, though. So it's a game I really definitely hold near and dear to my heart. I know for a lot of people it might be Ocarina of Time or something, or Majora's Mask, but no, this game is it for me within the Legend of Zelda series, though. So that's going to be the topic for today's video, though. But if you hadn't already done so, make sure you're going to hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. Skyward Sword, the one that has started it all, it has a double meaning, at least for me personally, though, because literally this game is the beginning of the timeline, but it's also the very beginning of my introduction to the Legend of Zelda series. Now, like all things, it's story time, though. So literally my experience with, Link and the Legend of Zelda series overall in general, I didn't get introduced to the thing until, Smash Brothers. Obviously, Smash Brothers 64, that was the very first Smash Brothers game. And then I played in subsequent games in the series into Brawl, then Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3DS, and then all the way up to Ultimate, though. But, at the time, it was like Smash Brothers Brawl or whatever, though. And I was like, okay, you know what? Link. I always saw this dude in every single Smash Brothers game. I didn't really know the Legend of Zelda series or whatnot, though. And it really wasn't actually, me taking the plunge off into the series. No, it was actually thanks to my brother, because I don't know what encouraged him to decide to try out, Legend of Zelda, and made him actually ask for this as like one of his Christmas gifts or whatever, though. But he just happened to ask for it, though. And I was like, and I was like, well, I do recognize that person from Smash, though. So I figured I might as well go ahead and, try the game out and just kind of see, what is Link's origins and stuff like that. And why is the game called The Legend of Zelda versus The Legend of Link? Because the protagonist you're playing through the game is Link and not Zelda. So yeah, I was trying to piece all of that together way back when, though. But nonetheless, though, the game was freaking phenomenal. Now, it's interesting because at least within this game, it was actually the 25th anniversary for the Legend of Zelda series. So even, looking at this case and stuff, you didn't get just the game, but you actually got like the 25th anniversary CD right here, where it had like a bunch of different arrangements and stuff from the game itself, along with the game itself, though. So, that's something I actually hold pretty dear. And then I do know, I think at the time they were selling the gold Wii remote as well. So, between that Wii remote and this with the game and the extra CD and stuff, they were kind of going out for, Legend of Zelda's 25th anniversary at the time, though. But I just wasn't aware of it because I just wasn't a long time, Legend of Zelda fan at that point, though. But nonetheless, though, I do remember at the time, this was definitely one of those games that used the Wii remote heavily and extensively. You had to have the Wii Motion Plus for this game, though. And I remember, I think this copy of the game actually came with the Wii remote edition little thing that you plug into the bottom of the Wii remote. Luckily we had that, because I think at the time we didn't have any Wii remotes that actually had the Wii Motion Plus built up in it. We didn't pick up a few of those until much later, though. But I do remember that, and just, it was just interesting swinging around that Wii remote in real time, swinging and linking up with, Link's sword and making all your slashes like that. It was something that really wasn't known, at least in the series, way before this, though. It was kind of weird. And even looking back at it retrospectively, it's weird hearing the discourse online how so many people could not learn to adapt to be able to control, the Wii remote and nunchuck combo and stuff, at least with traversing and attacking and stuff like that. Even though at the time when this game came out, I was like 10 to 12 or something like that. It was like very early teenage years, if not late, basically in the teenage years, though. But I was like, how in the world was myself as like a young teenager was able to adapt and be able to play, get through this game and had no problems? But yet hear all of these other critics and analysts and, other people within the gaming industry and say they had so many issues playing this game. I'm like, y'all just need to get better. I don't know if it's a skill issue or what, but like, you know what? People need to sit back and actually learn how to play this game. I'm just saying. I'm just saying no. But nonetheless, I didn't have any problems controlling Link though. But I thought, playing through this game was really good, and I had no issues with it though. And then obviously with Skyward Sword, we know that obviously, the game originally came out on the Wii though, but more recent memory though, we did manage to get an HD version of this game that managed to come out on the Nintendo Switch. And what the cool, interesting thing with that is, obviously you can play with your two different Joy-Cons that kind of simulate the, Wii Remote and Nunchunk play though. But within that game, you're actually able to use, stick controls. So you use that right stick to actually control the sword and stuff like that, though. And in terms of all the footage you're seeing up in this video, though, it's all coming from the HD port of Skyward Sword, though. Even though my experiences are based upon the Wii version, though, but at least I bought both versions, and I got the Nintendo Switch version though, but I still feel like it's a little bit off with controlling Link with the two different Joy-Cons, because you don't have that IR sensor there like what you have with the Nintendo Wii though, to kind of do your checks and balances and recenter the thing though. So you're constantly hitting like the resync button on the Joy-Cons if you haven't been playing Skyward Sword on that system though. But you know what? I like the way how they did manage to include stick controls and button controls for it though. So for those that somehow do have issues with this or are unable to play, the way how like the Wii version intended to, it does allow, more accessibility to those at it. I'm not going to hamper on people that, want to look towards those types of features in games though. But nonetheless though, the Wii version though, oh man, that was such a great experience. And I don't know how in the world with the timing of this, I managed to actually start off with the game that actually started off the whole entire timeline. Like literally you go through the whole game, you're playing as Link. Obviously you got Zelda and stuff, and you're dealing with the whole entire like Hylian people before Hyrule was a thing. There were people of Skyloft though, and you're going through the whole adventures of the game and stuff, and there is the Master Sword, but it wasn't the Master Sword at the time though. We were literally going through and forging this weapon over times and taking it to different areas on the land and stuff like that. So it was really cool and interesting to see how the Legend of Zelda came to be within this game itself though. And I don't know how in the world this game didn't manage to sell that many copies considering the large user base for the Nintendo Wii at the time though. I mean, it was literally like, what was it? Almost like a year or two before the end of the Wii's life cycle, before we transitioned over into the Wii U. So you would have thought this game would sell quite a bit though, but I do remember hearing about some of the things and promotional materials, stuff around E3s and stuff like that. I mean, it didn't necessarily strike a good landing in terms of like them doing that demo showcase at E3, because I guess with Bluetooth and stuff, and I heard about stories about how I think it was either Miyamoto, I can't remember if it was Anuma or not, but they were up on the stage and stuff and the thing wasn't syncing. I think they said something out in the audience like, hey, if you got a Bluetooth device, turn that Bluetooth off or something like that though. But regardless, I would definitely say, out of all of the Legend of Zelda games, I would definitely say Skyward Sword is still one of my most favorite games in terms of a story that they managed to tell from beginning to end though, because I just thought it was well written. I mean, yes, you had some parts of the game that were pretty repetitive, like you were moving between the Fair Wood section, the volcano, as well as that desert area, and you were kind of going from all three areas, and you did it again, and then you did it a third time though. But at least with the story they told between you, Zelda, and you're him always constantly getting your way, I thought that, the linear style for this game definitely helped with storytelling. And I think since then, with future iterations of the Legend of Zelda series that we got within Breath of the Wild as well as Tears of the Kingdom though, I feel like because of those games are so open world that they don't actually live up to the storytelling that was presented in Skyward Sword. And I think for a lot of people that love the lore Legend of Zelda, who really love the storytelling and stuff and the way how you can place this stuff in different timelines and stuff, I think that's one of the reasons why they kind of miss this, along with, just having traditional dungeons and stuff. Some of these dungeons I actually liked in this game. Some of them actually kind of got me to scratch my hair a little bit because, a couple of dungeons up in here where it's like, hey, they kind of turn you around just a little bit though, especially when you're trying to get that Triforce one. Oh my gosh, that was literally like a little mini dungeon builder right there, just dragging around different rooms and piecing them together. Man, that was a process getting through that one though. But nonetheless though, I feel like they did a lot of cool things within this. Obviously you had the the sense of unity and stuff, having that central hub area within Skyloft and be able to do things, including, doing things during the day as well as doing things during night. And, you can actually, build out your relationships and stuff with the different people there. So it was really interesting to have like a sense of community up in this game. That's something, in future iterations of Legend of Zelda games, especially with Breath of the Wild, we didn't really get to see that though. Now, one thing I definitely have to talk about here real quick is getting those tears during those trials. Like, do you remember those moments right there? Because I certainly do. Because whole shoot, running around and trying to get in all of those teardrops and stuff before you would trip up on a sensor, trip up on an alarm or something like that, and then you get those people that are chasing you and they're making that little music like like, oh my goodness, it was, who you talking about getting your race, talking about getting your heart racing right there. Like, oh shoot, man, I kid you not, man. That's like adrenaline rush, ooh, man, I'm telling you, man. I'm getting goosebumps just even going back and thinking about it right now, though. Especially when you were younger and you're doing that, and especially when you're going through those trials, they knock you out and hit you just once, and you got to do that thing all over again from the very beginning, though. So I remember having to run around, and this is where my strategic mindset started to really build within me playing certain games at that point, because I wasn't much of a strategic person, I would say, until like maybe this point moving forward, though. Like having to go around to the tiers, not picking them up, marking them on your map. So at least at that point, if you were struggling trying to find another one, hey, when you got like maybe 10, 15 seconds left, you can run to this point or, get more time on the clock and allow you to be able to explore more areas, though. That was just like one little part I had to mention up in this video, because I know a lot of people were probably thinking probably something on the same line as that. So yeah, I would say Skyward Sword is definitely an extremely phenomenal game, and I will still put it up there in terms of some of my most favorite Legend of Zelda games. I'll say Skyward Sword for the sake of storytelling and stuff, and then I would say at this point maybe Tears of the Kingdom for gameplay wise. I really do like the gameplay of the open worlds though, but it still can't beat nothing of the the single player action goodness with the story playing just all cohesively coinciding with this, because it's a feeling that I hadn't gotten within the Skyward Sword game in general with the Legend of Zelda series overall. I hadn't had that feeling since this game, and I would love to have that feeling once again outside of just playing just a remake, a remaster, or a port of an already established game. Like at some point I got to sit down and play Wind Waker or something like that at some point though. But yeah, y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, what all do you think about Skyward Sword? Are you one of the people like me that really do love and appreciate this game? Or were you somebody that was opposed to this game? You necessarily didn't like it because of the, the controls, which I understand that to a small degree, but still, like, come on, get better, skill issue, come on, y'all gotta do a little bit better though. But yeah, y'all just gotta let me know in the comment section down below. But that's gonna basically do it in terms of today's video though. So if you really like this, make sure to go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember y'all, until whatever video I make next, see y'all.